In our ongoing coverage of how redistricting is being used to undermine our democracy, Georgia is the new outrageous example. The GOP-controlled Georgia legislature approved new maps for the state Senate on Monday that give Republicans a clear advantage. Republicans will hold up to 69% of the seats in the chamber, as outlined by the map senators drew up for themselves. This is the same state where President Biden narrowly won last year, and the same state where people of color account for almost all of the population growth over the past decade. The legislative maps will go to the state's governor next for signing, after which lawmakers will turn their focus to redrawing the state's 14 congressional districts. The phenomenon is rapidly unfolding across the country. In the 12 states that finished the map drawing process, Republicans have added advantages for House seats in Texas, Iowa, North Carolina, and Montana. Democrats have lost their leads in districts in North Carolina and Iowa. Republicans need to flip just 5 Democratic-controlled seats to take control of the House of Representatives. Through redistricting alone, they may have already gained the crucial 5. Joining me now to discuss, Dean Obeidallah, host of SiriusXM Radio's The Dean Obeidallah Show and columnist at MSNBC Daily, and Brittney Cooper, professor of women's studies at Rutgers University and BNC contributor. So, Brittney, it feels like we're a broken record here. We keep, every time a state does this, we report on it. What is the big picture here about where we are heading for the next 10 years until the next census, if this continues to be the pattern where growth is generated by black and brown people, but that power is captured and taken away and used by Republicans to fuel their own rise to power and protect their own seats?
And let's remember that Brian Kemp becomes the governor of Georgia largely because he engages in a massive campaign of voter suppression, kicking voters off the rolls. So this is the playbook from which they are working, and they're doubling down on that playbook because it's the only way that they will have to win. This is a demographic game, and they know that. And so they have used the electoral college system in the country since its inception to grant minority rule and more power to, largely to white male voters in rural areas. That was in the 19th century. And now they're sort of going back to that playbook again to shore up power. And look, let's use some overwrought terms here and say that they are really trying to install an apartheid system so that white folks will largely control politics in the country, and white voters tend to vote conservatively, even after they are no longer the racial majority in the country. That is the end game and the end goal. And the way that they justify that is by saying, well, this is what Democrats do when they're in office too. The difference is in part that Democratic voters actually represent more of the population. So it is a truer representation of how people actually want to vote, but they just make this about, well, it's a both sidesism proposition, and that makes it really disingenuous.
So, Dean, how do we break out of this? The GOP has control of the map drawing process for 187 congressional districts, whereas Democrats control only about 75 districts. How do you break out of that if they have control when you draw the maps?
The best thing to do is pass the Freedom to Vote Act. You need federal legislation to deal with the gerrymandering so they can't disenfranchise people of color. Without that, you can sue them individually in state after state and hope you can show a violation of the Voting Rights Act, but that's been gutted. We all know that. Not just the Shelby County decision in 2013, but a case earlier this year affecting Section 2, the Bronovich case. So look, we need federal voting rights legislation. Charles, we've probably talked about this before. If you're black in America, you had more voting protection in August 1965 when the Voting Rights Act was signed into law than you do today in 2021. This is outrageous where we are. And the professor's absolutely right. This is a political apartheid, what we're seeing take place. White supremacy in the past in America dealt with violence, poll tax, literacy tests. Now it's a bunch of guys sitting in a room drawing a map to keep white minority power over people of color in their state. So you've got it in Georgia, you got it in Texas. Unless you pass federal legislation, there's no way to stop it except for here and there, maybe a court victory.
So, Brittney, you both have described this as political apartheid. And as Dean just said, the only way to deal with that is some sort of federal legislation. That legislation is not even being talked about at the moment. We're always talking about is the Build Back Better plan. I think that that's a really important piece of legislation and hope it gets passed. However, you don't have a real democracy if the people who are doing the voting are not equally represented or have a fair shot even at being equally represented. You can go out and vote all to your heart is content if all of your votes are packed into certain small congressional districts. It really does not matter. So how do we break out of that if Manchin is still not committed to voting for this Voting Rights Act? We are no closer to knowing his answer on this than we were a month ago or 2 months ago or 3 months ago. How do you see this working out? I mean, I am really, it may be hyperbolic for me to say, I'm really afraid for the country about this issue because I don't think enough people are paying attention to it. And I do feel like this is the moment, this is one of those moments where a democracy actually falls apart.
I think two things. I think if we look at this in historical vantage, Charles, that one of the really hard truths we're going to have to tell is that this is how white supremacy works, that Black people make gains and then whiteness backlashes in this very violent way. They actually do set us back. What we're going to have to do is fight like hell to not go back. But if you look at this in historical trajectory, we often take, 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. And I too am worried because I'm not seeing entirely how we get out of this. But I do think we have to remember what we did in 2020 when we had a national narrative about voter suppression, right? And about voter disenfranchisement. Then what we did was we overwhelmed the polls. And so the only real play we have here is to outperform. And that is, I think, some of the thinking around, focusing so much on infrastructure. If the narrative is that Democrats don't do anything when they get into office, then what you have is a situation that voters are not inspired to turn out. So I think that the calculation is that if there can be these big wins on the Democratic side in terms of policy, then that's going to inspire voters to turn out. I think the harder part is that people are actually more motivated to turn out, if we're honest, when they feel like something is being taken away. That's why Republicans engage in fear mongering to get their people to the polls. And I think Democrats are going to have to figure out how to actually stoke fear in the hearts of our folks and not complacency and say, look, we are going back to 1965. In fact, we're going to be going back to 1877, right? We're going to be going back to the end of Reconstruction if you don't get on the ball. And in the interim, we're going to have to do what Stacey Abrams charged us to do in 2020, which is that we're going to have to overwhelm the polls. We're going to have to use every machination we can to vote. And we're going to have to sue and tie up any of these small local elections in the courts. And so we're going to have to build a legal infrastructure to defend our interests until we can get to this federal legislation that's going to create a structure to protect us.
Dean, last question, have about a minute left here. Is there anything that can be done to stop these maps from being used in the 2022 election? I know that people are already rushing into courts to try to sue in some of these cases in some of these states, but the maps are now on the books. People are going to start campaigning based on the districts that they are now in. Even if you get something passed on a federal level about voting rights, can that retroactively be applied to these districts that have already been drawn, already been passed in state legislatures, already been signed by governors?
I think it's debatable if you can go back and have an impact there. I'm a lawyer, but I think there's a real question there if you can. As the professor said, though, it's about getting ready for what we can control. I can't get Joe Manchin to reform the filibuster. I can bang my head against the wall and say, change it. Why are you preserving the filibuster over preserving our democracy? Same thing with Senator Sinema. We can control what we can. That is getting our base organized, getting people ready to vote, finding it, make sure they can navigate any new voter ID laws, any new voter suppression efforts, so we can overwhelm them the best we can. But I think President Biden and the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have to make voting rights the #1 issue from here out. This is our democracy. Historians are going to look back at this point and say, did Democrats do everything they could to preserve our democracy? As of now, the answer is no. We've got to do more. It's for the history and the memory of so many people who have given their lives African Americans and white allies who were killed simply so black people could vote in this country. We can't on our watch lose that.
Dean Obeidallah, thanks so much for your time. Brittney Murphy, you stick around. I want to get your take on another story later in the show.